Build your own guaranteed pension. America is in a retirement crisis. How bad is the retirement crisis in America today?
It's quite bad. Roughly 40% of the population has virtually no savings. More than 40% of the population can't even come up with a $400 fund for an emergency, some type of emergency. Between 40 and 50% of the population have no retirement savings whatsoever. A 2018 Northwestern Mutual Life study found that 1 in 3 Americans has less than $5,000 in a retirement plan. And another Boston College Center for Retirement Research found about 54% of the people do not have enough money to maintain a retirement. And what is worse is that if people save it all, they're kind of forced into the Wall Street casino with 401ks.
The only thing I hear today is that the 401k or 403b plans are the only way to save for retirement. Aren't 401ks pension?
No, they're not pensions at all. The industry is quite corrupt with target date funds, which give the people the impression that they're pension plans, but they're not. They are not pensions. 401ks are not pensions. They're savings plans. Period. End of story. There is no lifetime income from 401k plans. A pension plan is essentially a guaranteed lifetime income stream, or like Social Security or a defined benefit pension plan if you're lucky enough to have one. But again, a 401k is only a savings plan, and it's a very risky one at that.
So 401ks are really the only retirement savings plan for most Americans. How big are they now?
They're gigantic. According to the Investment Company Institute, which is the research arm of the mutual fund industry, as of December 31st, there's more than 6.2 trillion in 401ks covering 58 million people. So they're huge. Mutual fund companies, banks, corporate insiders, and Wall Street financiers make billions on these 401k plans, but for individual investors, they can be a nightmare, particularly when you look what the market has lost 23% year to date, and so roughly 1.5 trillion was wiped out.
Savings plans, in particular retirement plans, are supposed to be risk-free, aren't they?
No, these 401k savings plans are not risk-free. In fact, they're stuffed with massive risks that most people do not realize. Most people do not realize, but their savings and mutual funds from 401ks from plans like Fidelity, Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, BlackRock, and others are funding the Wall Street casino and the excessive corporate greed we see in America today with things like stock buybacks. And stock buybacks are probably one of the most corrupt pieces of America today. We're roughly 5.3 trillion has been spent on buybacks since 2000. Look, Wall Street and the asset management industrial complex do not want to serve this speculative orgy, if you will. They want to keep the gravy train, and they want to keep the party going. Fund companies are completely protected under the laws of the Pension Protection Act of 2006, which was an airline bailout bill, which also put mutual funds in control of people's savings. But if you read any prospectus or investment ad, there's no guarantees in this stuff. In addition to the massive lobbying dollars spent by asset managers and banks, they've taken control of your savings and still gamble with your money as much as you like. I've been writing about this scam for 13 to 14 years now. The little guy's getting it screwed.
So are retail investors who supply the majority of their savings to 401ks, are they making any money?
Yeah, sometimes they do. And this bull run, for the past 11, 12 years, which is abruptly coming to an end, investors did make money. But the market really went up from excessive money, federal money printing by the Federal Reserve, not organic growth. Look, the market's down 23% since the beginning of 2020. And I've seen clients and friends lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market. It's a disaster and horrible risk management for the retail investor.
I have heard that indexed investments such as mutual funds and ETFs are supposed to be safe and secure. In fact, these funds are now the dominant player in 401k plans. Do they do well?
Well, this is another fairy tale from Wall Street and the asset management industrial complex. Look, people can listen to the other video. I think we just did one on index funds. So you can go to the Economic Warrior on YouTube. But the problem with the index funds, they're troublesome, particularly people near retirement or in retirement, because they lost an average of 30% in 2008 and then roughly 23% this year on average.
So what should a person do?
Well, everyone's different. The first step is, to take inventory of what you have, to figure out where your savings are, what your Social Security is going to be, what your debt exposure is, and so on. You want to create multiple income streams from, and after all, if you read the Bible, and I do, you recall, I don't recall anything in the Bible about retirement plans, but in any event, but you need to come up with a strategy for fixed income with things like preferred securities, rents, small business interests, and so on. But to build your own pension, you should really consider using lifetime annuities from insurance companies. There's no question about that.
Everyone I hear from, people like investment guru Ken Fisher and others, that annuities are a bad thing, that you are giving up use of your money, and that they are expensive. Is that true?
No, guys like Ken Fisher will always be riverboat gamblers and always will be. Look, he's an investment advisor and he's a billionaire because he survives off the annuity income he gets from the billions under asset management. So there's really no risk to Fisher investment. So he's surviving off annuity. So he's a bit of a hypocrite. But and also guys like Ray Dalio, who's always been in the news lately, he essentially gets an annuity income off of the $153 billion they have under management. Look at let's look at another thing, just in terms of are they expensive or not? Because I'm tired of hearing this at this point. And it's a bunch of hooey. Let's say you had $100,000 in the market at the beginning of 2020, and you had $100,000 in an annuity. Today, you'd still have $100,000 in the annuity, but and if you had the money in the market, you'd only have about $76,000. Look, you're going to need 46% of rate of return just to get back to just to break even. It's not unlikely, if not almost virtually impossible. Putting mutual fund in is like playing pinball with your hands tied behind your back. Okay. Mutual funds can be considerably more expensive than annuities because you're extremely exposed to losses in principal. Look, the sole purpose of retirement plans is to produce retirement income, not to gamble. Yet the vast majority of people today are forced into the Wall Street casino. In economic terms, it's called disintermediation. In other words, you're forcing people into very risky investments to make returns.
Do people really want guaranteed income in retirement?
Yes, they really do. Look, TIAA CREF, which is a huge asset manager out of New York, and Cerulli Associates out of Boston come up with this as well. Roughly 70% of the population want to have some type of guaranteed income stream. They don't want to gamble with their retirement money.
Are there any notable companies who are buying annuities for their employees now?
Yes, and as people go to my website, barryjames.com, they can get my books. But my research has documented that in my 3 books, giant corporations use annuities and life insurance all the time to finance retirement plans. So what they do for themselves and what they do recommend for the customers are 2 different things. But factually, giant companies like General Motors, Federal Express, Raytheon, British Airways, Rolls-Royce, Bristol-Myers Squibb, the New York Times, CBS News, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and hundreds more are using annuities to finance their retirement incomes.
Why have I not heard of this from the mainstream media?
Look, the media serves the corporate sponsors, not individual investors. Take, for example, Fidelity Investments is now the main sponsor of PBS, which is supposed to be a not-for-profit, non-biased educational news source, if you will. It's nonsense. Fidelity is one of the new corporate sponsors. Kantar Media, which is one of the best media research outfits in New York, found that that asset managers and banks are really the 3rd largest advertisers after mobile phone companies and automobile companies. So this is why I'm watching more Netflix and Amazon Prime to get away from all the Fidelity green arrows.
Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, read my books. Put a lot of my life into these things. Go to barryjames.com. And you should do that for starters. Also stay away from Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox Business News. Although they have a lot of good content, they're not talking about things since it would essentially piss off their advertiser base. And beware of the New York Times. They do not talk about use of annuities, though they themselves purchased a $225 million annuity for their own retirees in October 2017 to finance their pension. Another thing is what I recommend for the folks is that stay away from private equity-backed life insurance companies such as Athene, F&G, Global Atlantic, and Security Benefit Life. You're going to be safer with these companies than you will be in the market, but you're going to be better off with a mutually owned life insurance company because they don't have the massive conflicts of interest that private equity firms and Wall Street firms do. That's another story which needs to be another book could be written about. But anyhow, please call us at barrymdike.com, or you can email me direct at bdike@camnh.com. Thank you.